show. It is Friday. RawMikeRichards.com. Lots to talk about today. As always, on a Friday, Jimmy the Bag going to come in. He's got a special announcement, too. I'll be honest, could be upsetting for some people when they hear what he's going to say today. But being a Friday, as you know, not only will Jimmy have his bag picks, I have the sexy gold picks of Gold Sex. You don't get that everywhere. And as everyone's favorite, the Dave Bastel foreplay. And I'll be honest, for some of those tickets last night, or some of those parlays, most people would have taken that bad number at minus 7.5 for Green Bay. And you're a winner. Except for Trevathan, who might have some issues with the league, is what a lot of people are purporting could happen if you saw or didn't see that hit. Now, do we have a picture of we're not going to show the clip itself, only because we don't want to get gooned by the NFL today. I'm just not in the mood. And sometimes we still fight some of those issues. But as it was shown in slow-mo, Dave, as we were looking at it today, you know, when you're engaged with another player, and I guess that's the word that I would use. There's probably an official way of saying in the NFL. But I think engage with another player. So, therefore, if someone else is to come in there, literally like the third man, if you want to put it that way.
Yep.
You're defenseless because you're already engaged with the guy who's making the tackle, in this case, a linebacker. And Trevathan comes in there. And as the player, again, is being brought to the ground, he's coming in like a missile. And it's full on helmet to helmet. Mouth guard is popped like right out, Dave. It's popped right out. And so the league will look at it. Now, he wasn't disqualified, just so you know.
Yep. Personal foul.
It was a personal foul. And the ref waited probably, 5 to 7 seconds?
That's the part I didn't really like about it, too, because you watch the scrum, you watch the players panic and call over, the sideline people, and then dude throws the flag. It's like, come on, make up your decision when the actual spear of the helmet went full on for the guy's face mask, basically, helmet area. That's when the call should have been made.
And, Dave, sometimes when it's that, I guess the word I'd use is egregious. You know how the flags come in from every part of the stadium,
yes,
like it's just
exactly.
like a laundry, or as they say, a yard sale.
Yep.
And that didn't happen.
No.
So, is there a fine? I think it's possible, but a suspension. I don't know how you suspend a guy that wasn't even thrown out of the game. Now, the player in question,
Danny Trevathan.
Yeah. No.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. He gave the thumbs up on the way out. And it appears that he's okay.
Good.
That he's okay. But it gets into that area again, which is they're trying to get rid of the gray, but in getting rid of the gray and for player safety, it becomes a little more difficult to play the sport of football. Because I'll be honest, if this thing was like 10 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, just a guy got popped like that and a mouthpiece, comes flying out. I don't even know if there may
not even be a flag.
Be a penalty.
Well, it's funny because you not only do you talk about that, and you could go through the NFL films of some of the specials that they have, and it's unheard of today, but it actually did exist, like NFL's biggest hits and greatest hits, and they're just crushing each other, just like when you look through the NHL films,
like Scott Stevens.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect. He would have been a suspension machine if he played in 2017, 2018. He'd be more, hated by the public as far as dirty hits are concerned than a Matt Cook. That's
no other way to
because not only was he a big dude, but he'd level everything that was in his way, and at the time, that was an accepted practice. Today, not even close.
It will come down, I guess, to the league deciding, and again, it's not about rule changes because they've done that. Now, does that mean I don't think it's that kind of hit, quite honestly. Was it graphic? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the announcers going, oh, he was just frustrated. And I just think that in this day and age, the way that football is called, you have to have an awareness. So if Trevathan wants to come in and go, but see, if he goes even lower, you're talking about a trajectory of a player that's engaged, and they're going to the ground anyway, because that's what's happening in football. He's made the initial tackle, they're going to the ground, and as he comes in at a certain angle, head becomes lower to where Trevathan is what he probably thinks is low enough.
Correct.
So I don't know how. It's obviously targeted because you have to be responsible, as we learned in the NHL.
100%.
Right? You're responsible for your own actions. So even if it's by mistake, if you do it, there's still. But I don't think there'll be a suspension. I really don't. I don't.
I don't know. See, because I look at that and I go, that hit at that time, at that part of the game, with everything that was going on, it was starting to get a little more chippy as it went closer and closer. It almost seemed like it was a hit out of frustration. He was pissed about, being down by 2 touchdowns, not even really being in the game because the Packers actually jumped off to a 14-0 lead, in full control of it. And then, he went headhunting, right? So we'll see what happens, but we probably should know by the time we're back here on Monday morning.
Kevin Seifert from ESPN, an NFL Nation writer, as he calls it, because the NFL has a new tool to suspend Bears linebacker Danny Trevathan. If it isn't used in this instance, then it's fair to wonder that if it will ever be used. During the offseason, the NFL Competition Committee announced that certain illegal hits, previously punishable by a 15-yard penalty, would be subject to immediate ejection and or suspension on the first offense. At the time, NFL Executive Vice President Troy Vincent said the league wants to eliminate hits that he termed catastrophic by employing the maximum level of deterrence. So was that catastrophic? Was it avoidable? Can Trevathan, as that player, not do what he did? And I think that's where you're going to have the weight of the competition committee, the NFL as a whole, and then guess what? Then you'll deal with the NFLPA. And they will be the defense. Do you realize how tangled right now and how tenuous that relationship between the PA and the league is right now? It will be very interesting to see how the weight of both of those worlds comes to a conclusion. I'm not sure when it would be, but, they say, Adams wasn't making any further forward progress, but you're seeing it in super slow-mo. I can guarantee you Kevin Seifert did not play ball. And it's not that I'm making some huge defense over it, Dave, but at some point they're reading into a lot of stuff like he was frustrated, the team's losing, there was a horrible weather delay, he plays, quite frankly, on a team that's not very good.
True. All
these things to almost build up like this, a case would be of an MO. And I don't think that's fair either, really. I don't. I didn't see the benches now, even though guys were all over the place. I didn't see the grabbing of the jerseys, the grabbing the face masks. Aaron Rodgers had some words too, but it wasn't exactly West Side Story and players are pretty good at quickly deciding what was what. So I think for me personally, it falls into a gray area, and if it does, then I don't know if you necessarily can suspend a player, because if you suspend him for that, now you're back into the whole PA thing of what Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended for, what Adrian Peterson is, we're talking about personal off-field things.
Yeah.
So is what he did worse than what Ray Rice did? Ray Rice assaulted, he just hammered a woman.
But I think they look at that as two different chapters. You know what I mean?
They're two different.
They should. I know what you're getting
because ultimately we're talking about then how many games does that cost you as a player to not play on your team? So am I weighing
if you
physical violence against a woman versus a guy coming in and targeting? It's a weird. But see, this is, Dave, what I'm saying about when it comes to that CBA and when they get together, they're walking, and this will be gasoline on a fire depending on which way it goes. If you believe that it was really dirty, then players would be upset about the hit. If players are worried the fact that now another hammer's coming down on one of their players. It's just football is the weight of what's on the officials' minds at the time, and that's why I think the official took 7. I didn't time it, but it was 5 to 7 seconds, and then the flag came out. Why? Why the delay? Because guess what? The weight of what that decision is going to be is enormous now in terms of money's lost, the relationship between I think all those things happen for the officials now. I really do. I think it goes through their heads.
That's interesting.
Otherwise, you're just throwing that flag if you think of what it was.
Yeah.
But he waited to see what the reaction was, and then when he was on the ground,
because you could hear stuff too, right? You could you hear the initial hit, you hear
it
the
popped
reaction of the players. You know, because the Green Bay Packer players, if you watch that replay, they're in a state of panic where it's, get over here fast, and I'm sure they're saying it in a different way than what I'm saying it right now.
Yes, yeah.
And then the reaction of the referee to go, boom, I got to drop this on the floor right now. So
do they implement this new rule where they can come in and do it? I don't know, because I'm telling you, the weight of, again, that relationship between the league and its players is really fragile. So, man, I don't know. I mean, of all the things to happen, like for Goodell, since he's been commissioner, the things that he's dealt with,
yep,
including the concussion, and again, maybe the discussion starts with CTE, those players that banded together to talk about the lawsuit that they had against the league about concussions and concussed players, that I don't think it's that crazy. Even though people say, well, football will never, it's too much a part of the American culture, which to a degree I do agree with. But if you compare the way that this game, including last night, to a game 20 years ago, as you said, it's almost a different sport.
Yeah, completely. And you know what? If you want to take it another step, if we're crystal balling it and looking into the future, if you and I are talking here in our 80s, I don't know how much hitting is going to be part of this game anymore.
Well, it's a little.
I'll be honest with you.
Like, do we have boxing? Do we have mixed martial arts?
Exactly.
Because everything has to do. And you know what creeps me out sometimes too, is you see those embarrassing futuristic science fiction movies. Mm-hmm. What was that one with Stallone and it wasn't Judge Dredd, it was the other one with Sandra Bullock. What was that one called?
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man.
Yeah, good. She looked good in that outfit. See, I'll tell you that.
I don't always like her. She should be in my thing, but she's kind of not.
Not in the wheelhouse?
But that movie?
That outfit?
Yeah. In. But everything is sort of outlawed.
Don't get any ideas for Halloween, Russell. You can't wear that outfit.
Yeah, no being Sandra Bullock. No, again, okay? But, they swear and the thing goes, two demerits for swearing.
Yes.
What are you talking about? This is bullshit. Boop.
Yeah.
2 more demerits for swearing. Hey, fuck you.
Well, even that Tom Cruise movie, remember, I forget what that one's called. You're going to have to help me with this one. But the Tom Cruise movie where they arrest somebody.
Pre-cons.
Yes, because they know he's about to murder somebody.
Yeah.
So they're getting him before the.
That's
messed up.
That was Colin Farrell's, I think, first big American movie.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at it, and because he's talking like this tough guy, and I didn't know where he's from, and at some point he says the word car, and I go, he's Irish. Because they have a heart.
Bravo.
Yeah. With you want to trick them? Get a word with AR in it, like bar or core or things like that. That's what they have tough. But we're getting to a point where that's why the movie Rollerball, the original Rollerball, they eliminated violence everywhere, and I think, isn't it like around the world, except for this one game where they chase the ball, and in the meantime they have like gloves with studs and chainsaws on them or whatever, and then they're just like fucking killing guys. Like here comes Russell. Oh no, here comes Disaster Dave. Because they've narrowed it down to it's like the Hunger Games. It's like it's like the Running Man, where they've eliminated all this other stuff because they figured the society was too violent. But let's just have the one game where you can just like chop a head off.
You can do anything you want.
And I'm looking and I'm thinking of what they now call, we never called them combat sports, by the way. Combat sports is something that has seeped into the lexicon in the last 3-4 years. But I never called boxing a combat sport.
Never.
Or Muay Thai or any of the mixed martial arts or I don't know.
It's one of those new words, right? It's kind of like in hockey when you're listening to a play-by-play and you hear the half wall.
Yeah.
They played half wall in the 80s and 90s, right?
Half wall, I've heard that. And also, I got to be honest, it's a wrist shot. It's a wrist shot. You take a wrist shot. I'm not saying wrister. I'm not saying wrister. And as a goalie, there's no goddamn way someone's beating me with a wrister. No, it better be full-on slap shot. There'll be guys in front of me. Maybe you tuck in a rebound. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. And I'm still probably going to try to slash your legs after it's over because if you wreck a shutout on me. I did this once where I just started ripping all my equipment off. It was very dignified.
That is a little different. Yeah.
We beat a team from Lindsay that had won 45 games in a row. A lot of hockey players came out of Lindsay. And so we were winning 2-0, and they pull the goalie, and it just like, you're back in the stacking the pads days, and you're up there, and I'm doing the palmatiers, I'm all over. And just before the clunk, that really sickening sound from it, clunk, fucking way. And they're like, one of the captain goes, and it could be a guy in the NHL, I don't know. It was a very good team. He goes, great game, goalie. All of a sudden, I just start taking my clothes off. Like, well, the game's over, and Richards does not. Well, either he's not pleased or he just wants to be naked on the ice.
He's very hot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what an idiot! Just start taking my gloves and throwing them off. We won. We take the 45-game streak away from the hottest team in Ontario, and I'm ripping my clothes off because they scored a goal on me. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with. Anger.
So nothing's really changed.
No, I talked on 94.9 The Rock. I talked about how I drive. How if someone does something bad and I don't get the wave, I do this.
Oh.
See what I'm doing? I'm putting the silencer on. I'm putting the silencer on because when I go by, you're going to get one of these.
You do that.
Yeah, this is Daryl Dahmer now checking the Kingston Road. There seems to be, someone got tapped 3 times in the side of the head by a silencer. You don't see that often. Still checking. By the way, do you like Stouffer's Jam? Stouffer's Jam, smooth every time. We'll be back on the ones.
I would. And sometimes if I really don't like someone in my head, do.
Really?
Well, then you spit.
The spit after the kill shot.
Tap twice to the head, once in the heart.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
See, this is what you get on a Friday. This is what you get on a Friday. By the way, I'm 54, and I still think this way. I do. Are you an angry driver, roast beef? I wouldn't think you are. You're so laid back, though.
Way laid back. This guy does 30s and 50s.
I get mad at people driving slow in the left lane.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
That's
know the lane. Stay the lane.
No, mad as in shake your fist mad or mad as in swear?
You're not pleased with the people in front of you.
And I get pissed off too if I'm in the right trying to turn right at a light and some car's going straight in the right lane and doesn't move up to let me turn right.
Do you ever honk at him or anything like that?
Sometimes.
Now let me throw this at him. What about if the guy ahead of you that did that was Mitch Marner?
No.
Are you still mad at him?
No.
Might give a pass.
Yeah, I might give a pass.
You go, high five.
That was a good move.
Yeah, high five.
I usually get mad at that, but I like that.
Yeah.
You'd give a pass on Howard Chuck, though.
I drive him around the city.
You'd be really shocked to know what he'd let Dale Howard Chuck do. Dale's like, but I don't want to do that. But you could, though, Dale. You really could. You're watching rawmkerichards.com, either on our very own, and subscribe, by the way, to rawmkerichards.com. Subscribe to it. Those who have been listening, 94.9 The Rock, those who have been downloading the podcast, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It's the best way. It's the easiest way. Then each and every day, download it to you, and you get to see the actual show, including what is going to be maybe a very emotional Jimmy the Bag show. He's not here yet.
No.
I think he's got something very emotional to say today.
He's probably tearing up outside.
He is.
As he gets out of his Uber.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the guy in downtown Toronto who works for the city, and you know how hard those guys work.
I used to be a city worker in Winnipeg.
You know how hard those guys work.
Oh, yeah. So many coffee breaks.
So he's got that, what looks like to be, what would you call the thing, the guy with the little suction thing who goes through and cleans up the sidewalks?
Just a street cleaner. But not the actual street cleaner, but like a sidewalk cleaner.
A sidewalk. So it's like a golf cart, but way better.
Yes, yeah.
And it's got the great big vacuum thing that comes over like an elephant's trunk.
That'd be fantastic.
And it goes through.
Operate.
The guy that we have on King Street here in downtown Toronto is the shittiest, worst guy ever. This street is covered in cigarette butts because we're by a bar, so everyone goes outside and smokes. So there's 9,000. When he was going by today, I'm watching him. See why there's all the cigarette butts in the street? It's because the people who own these stores still have to sweep it off because he's getting none of that. He's not getting any. Now, cigarette guy who has the Harvard shirt on, he's glad that we have a terrible street guy, but But this guy, you can see it looks like snow on the streets outside because there's so many cigarette butts that the guy with the elephant suction vacuum didn't even get. Like, how bad are you at that job? Because it kind of looks fun.
No, it does.
It does look fun.
I would do it. Probably makes $30 an hour.
$30 an hour.
Not bad, eh?
We should be doing the show from that little vehicle. That's what we should be doing. Now, I see that Jimmy the Bag has made his way into the studio. As I said, it's going to be a very emotional day. We have a lot of picks. We have the gold, sexy picks of gold sex. We've got Dave Bastel playing, of course, bag picks. But he also has something else to talk about. So, and by the way, get some Kleenex because this could be, I'm told it's going to be very emotional. And not Kleenex that you normally think of when you think of Jimmy the Bag. It's not the Jergens kind of Kleenex. It's the emotional Kleenex. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Although with his recent talk,
he's wearing a nice hat though. I like the hat.
In Costa Rica they have that apparently just there's just Kleenex on the side of the street. I think that and Purell.
Hopefully a lot of it.
Yeah. Just showers to hose yourself down as you're walking down the streets. Jimmy the Bag going to join us in just a few seconds after this.
Is this a little toy camera? Ooh, you're a movie maker, eh? Is this even real? Is this just your fucking little game so you can have friends to talk to? Is this camera even fucking on?
Oh, it's a pretty good camera. It's getting good shots.
Is that right? And where are these good shots gonna? Is this gonna end up on a movie somewhere?
Well, I hope one day maybe on TV, but for sure I'm going to put it up on the internet.
On the internet? Oh, nice. So when I'm surfing fucking porn, I might get a chance to see your fucking little TV series?
It's a side project that I'm doing with my own equipment while I'm waiting for funding for...
What's your side project?
This.
Yeah?
The Jimmy the Bag. Because I'm between...
Juggling cum between your eyes? Is that one of your side projects?
Okay, never mind.
He's a douchebag, that's what the world's saying. He's a douchebag, here's how you know I ain't playing. He's a douchebag, there was a vote, it's legit. He's a douchebag, no, don't even give a shit.
It's an awesome song. That is that was written by Henry Mancini and
why do you think you got so many votes? Why do you think you...
There's some of, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy the Bag in studio.
Welcome back, pal.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Song was a little upsetting for some. I think at least there was no RoboCop references here today.
No, we'll get back to those very soon.
Now, let me ask you something. I have some dramatic music for something that was, I thought, very dramatic. And here we go. Let's try this. That's dramatic. So last night, did you catch any of that game?
I did.
Did you make a wager on that game?
I didn't. I was concerned. It was stupid.
Dave and I took the 7.5 like immediately. I think you did as well, right? Yeah.
The difference between the Bears at home on the road is ridiculous.
Night and day.
And I should have just hammered it. I wish I was here yesterday on your show, and I would have
Well,
hammered
you could have been. I mean,
Right there, just like the bomber pick from last week.
Yeah.
The bomber pick was
Yeah,
great.
the bomber pick was fantastic.
bomber pick was great, and not only that, but a bunch of the Bags friends ran with it too.
Oh,
When I
good.
put it up, so there was a
Good.
lot of people thanking you guys.
Good.
that
That's
was Vic, that
awesome.
was all Victor Newman. That was all Vic.
God, he knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah, he
This
sure
guy-
does.
This guy's a class act.
RoboCop in his own right.
Yeah, he is sort of.
I
Yeah.
need to see proof.
Yeah. And so now there's going to be talk of the suspension or the fine. I don't know if you saw that, but I mean, to me, there's just so much gray area. Even though people say gray area, the guy was defenseless and he came in and got cranked. We'll find out later on. But the only thing is, I think that when a guy's not ejected, you're now getting to a players' association issue where, and those two aren't getting along anyway. If there's a suspension and fine, which I think it's going to be 50-50 the way that people think, it's just going to add to more tension for this CBA, which these talks won't even happen. Neither side is going to come to the table, especially the players. They're gone. They are gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extremely violent sport. I mean,
It is, and you know what? And people say, "Oh yeah," people just say that. But the reason that guys who play it, Dave played it, it's because you like the contact, you like the violence in it. It's not like they were forced to play. It's not, as I said, it's not like the Hunger Games, and all of a sudden you're sitting there with a helmet on. You're like, "Well, what happened? I was picking berries, and all of a sudden there's a big man with
That's what happened to me.
yeah, it's like I'm a gatherer, not a hunter. So why is this happening? It's like these guys want. I mean, I loved contact sports. I mean, it's just, the crack of the plastic is kind of what gets you going a little bit, but not so much anymore. That mouthpiece comes flying out. So we'll find out what happens. It's but again, looking at some of the NFL and what some of these teams are up against this weekend. This this will dominate the talk of that weekend. Going into it.
And you're right. We watch for the violence. Even you talking about the violence, my heart starts beating a little faster.
Get a little excited.
You get excited.
Yeah.
And that's what sports is about. It's about being excited and getting away from all the bullshit that's happening in your everyday life.
Yep.
And jumping up and pumping your fist over someone getting hit extremely hard. And our favorite players are the hardest hitters.
Well, we talked about Scott Stevens earlier on. I mean, he'd be suspended. He'd be up on the carpet probably every single game.
Yeah, he would be a villain in the NHL, not a hero.
So he'd be a heel.
A heel. Oh, yeah. Imagine him
Yeah.
turning heel, too, and doing promos and cutting. Hey.
When they come to the swamp this weekend, and I'm talking to you, Lindros. Could have been.
Lindros felt a couple
Yeah,
of
he
those
sure he did.
multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
When you come to the swamp in New Jersey.
He wasn't quite the Ultimate
Yeah.
Warrior, but the attitude on the ice was very Ultimate Warriors.
Yes, it was. Now, a couple things happening here, and we'll get to some of the things that you want to talk about. We're going to do it. What do you want? Do it after. We should do it after.
Man, I'm good with anything.
Okay, we'll do it after. But I do want to talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs because this is the final weekend for MLB.
Yes. 3 more games left for most teams.
And there are a lot that has been decided. What do you think is going to happen in these playoffs? Because I think this thing's going to be crazy. There was a time where we all in love with the Dodgers. I don't know. Are we still in love with the Dodgers?
Well, what we've seen every single year, 2 things. One, it doesn't matter what your record is in September. That is a non-issue with teams that go on to win the World Series. Another thing that we get every year is big upsets. Did you guys see Cleveland going into Boston and destroying them last year? I didn't see that coming. So it's just not going to be as simple as... I mean, I think the American League looks very simple, right? It looks like the Indians will be playing the Astros, but the Yankees are playing well. It's going to be hard for me not to take Santana as a road dog in the wild card, but the Yankees are playing well. I trust the Yankees more than the Red Sox. If we're talking about the American League, it seems pretty simple. The NL, though, that's a question mark.
I think it's a freak show.
It's a huge.
Like, are we going to be that
question
surprised if Arizona caused all kinds of problems?
If Arizona that's a great point. If Arizona goes on a run, will that surprise anybody?
No.
I don't think it should. No.
Rob Ray will start Game 1 and Game 5 if Greinke wins the first, because we don't even know who the Rockies, if the Rockies still get there, which it looks like right there. Their elimination numbers just 2. But if Greinke throws a masterful performance and then Rob Ray comes into Game 1, I mean, the Diamondbacks could roll. You see what J.D. Martinez, you see the numbers he's putting up? I mean,
He's been amazing.
Unbelievable.
And considering that when he went over from the Tigers, he was injured for those first couple of weeks, and it's like, oh, what a waste of a trade. And meanwhile, he turns into arguably, outside of that guy from the Phillies who came out and just started banging home runs,
Rhys Hoskins.
the hottest player in the world
Yeah.
is J.D. Martinez.
Absolutely.
And they got him for a song, basically.
Got him for nothing.
When we talk about Cy Young, do we have in our heads who you think that should be? Because it's kind of flip-flopped.
It's changed for me.
Yeah, it's flip-flopped over the last little while.
I was on Chris Sale. I love Chris Sale. And then Chris Sale had a little bit of a September that wasn't Chris Sale-ish. And I really think it's Corey Kluber's to lose right now, to tell you the honest truth.
It's Corey Kluber I believe will win the AL Cy Young.
Yeah.
You know, because Sale, look, the way this works is as we get into October, just who's the best in October.
Yep.
So if Sale becomes, as you say, Sale-ish, no one's going to have any problems with that because when he is the Chris Sale, he's frightening. Like it really, I imagine being out of the bat and because he changes not only all the speeds of his pitches, he changes, like there's no real rhythm that you can get settled into because even when he throws the pitch, he starts changing the times on that too. He's a nightmare.
He's a nightmare, but he is questionable upstairs. And I said this when he pulled out the scissors and cut up his White Sox jersey. What is going through this guy's head? Now, we know he's very intense. So
I think that's what, and I
kind of like that.
I'm for the crazy.
Yeah.
I'm for the angry guy who goes, oh yeah. See this jersey? Snip, 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 snip.
I don't know about that, man. Man.
Do you think that one of the trainers goes, hey, I have to tell you, if you cut that a baseball uniform, man, you're not going to get another one. And I can't sew it together. Not again. Not for you.
At least he didn't turn it into a belly shirt.
Yeah.
You know? But I think, okay, so I understand the crazy a bit, but I don't like it. I love the intensity. I watched Strasburg pitch a couple weeks ago, and he hit a home run.
Magnificent.
He
too.
has, well, it was during his 35 straight scoreless inning streak, and he hit a home run, and it gave them a 1-0 lead, and he came in through the clubhouse, and he didn't give anybody a high five. There were high fives up for him, and he was just so stone-faced, and then he walked through and then into the
clubhouse, yeah.
But do you think with the Nationals that they seem to be the ultimate heartbreak kind of wheels fall off when you need them to come through for it?
If they don't do something this year, they will never do anything.
They've never made it out of the first round. But how could you bet against them right now?
Okay.
I love their front line
Are
pitching too.
Are they the equivalent of the Washington Capitals?
I knew you'd say that.
Because you're looking and going, wait a minute, they're from Washington.
Even their jerseys
from Washington.
are the same. I know.
Wait a minute.
It could be. It really
And
could
now
be.
coming out to pitch for the Nationals.
Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah,
What?
Alex Ovechkin. It's starting to feel like
I
that.
like the Nationals' chances better than I like the Capitals' chances when you're looking at the overall scheme of things, because I actually have the Nationals to come out of the a National League this year.
It makes sense.
You know, because I think this is their year, and if they do not do this, they will never do this. Their team will never look like this again, because Bryce Harper isn't going to be there in a couple of years, and eventually the pitchers wear down and guys get moved. It's not going to be the same.
But is this, and it's funny the way that you put it when you word it like that, is almost like what we were saying about the Washington Capitals this past playoffs.
Correct.
Like if they don't do it this year,
yeah. Because they're
never going to do
they're
it.
not doing it this upcoming
No,
season with
they're
all the
not.
losses they've had along the way, and an older Ovechkin, and it's Washington's going to be a nice regular season team this year.
but that window where we
But
think they're
that-
going to win, I don't
but
think it's
that
this year.
window
I
of
agree.
championship has vanished.
The Nationals will be playing the Cubs, and so last night Doolittle allows a 2-run home run in the 9th inning to Bell, 26th home run of the year for the rookie out of Pittsburgh. But both the Cubs and the Nationals bullpen is not lights out. Nationals are going to be scared going into that series. The Cubs have done it before.
Did you say scared?
Did I say scared?
Yeah, I think you said be scared.
I think he's getting ready for his
Yeah,
next
you're
job.
They're going to be scared. No, they are going to be scared.
He has to speak the language if he's going to fit in. He doesn't look like him.
That's what the girls. That's what the girls in the hotel say. You'll be with Yimmy. No, I'm not scared.
Okay. He's prepping himself. He does his homework, man.
Oh, I'm going to be marked everywhere I go. That goes very good. That guy with the Nikes and the red hat.
Now, before we get going, because we have all the hilarity, should we? Because Bill's been waiting.
Okay, we're going to bring him on.
The
The last couple days he's been waiting, actually.
Bill Belichick's been waiting, Jimmy, for the Bill Belichick Comedy Corner. Perfect. He comes in and do, and so.
Does Jimmy want to maybe listen to some of the background stuff with it? So I give him that, because he can't hear.
Oh yeah,
he
no,
can't
you
hear
probably
the-
should.
He can't hear the crowd.
I can
right?
see like Bill, you know, I can see him pacing right now in the outside.
Well, he's
the
been
glass
here
there.
since Tuesday.
And
Trying
he
to
showed up
get
every
in
day,
on
and
there,
it hasn't happened. So, let me just see. Is he still out there? Is he waiting? Okay, so zoom in on Dave. There we go.
Yeah, here we go.
And so I think that. Yeah, Bill, come in here.
Come on in, Bill.
Yeah.
So Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots, joins us now for something he likes to call Bill Belichick's Comedy Corner. You heard it last week. We're bringing him back because it's been very, very good. And Bill, what do you have for us today? Really good to have you in the Comedy Corner once again.
I've got a couple of funny jokes.
Okay.
That,
Let's see
they're
what
pretty
you got this week.
pretty hilarious. Okay, joke number 1. A ham sandwich walks into a bar, orders a beer, and the bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." That's
not bad.
It's joke number.
Yep. What about number 2? What do you have for us for
So,
number 2?
don't hurry me. So, how do you make a hanky dance?
I don't know. How do you make a hanky dance?
You put a boogie in it.
Boogie. Gotcha.
Or you could say booger. But
That'd be
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah,
for the punchline.
let's try number 3, Bill. This isn't as popular as last week, but it's still pretty good.
I don't work blue. Did you hear about the 2 peanuts in the park?
I did not. What happened to the 2 peanuts in the park?
One was assaulted.
Ah, very good. Bill, can I ask you about Cam Newton and how you have to stop a pretty decent offense once he actually gets on track?
Well, I'm not going to give up our defensive schemes right now, but we're on to Carolina.
Okay.
We're on to Carolina.
Bill Belichick Comedy Hour only here on Ron Mike Richards. Catch him every single... You know what? I'm not going to say what day it is because you just never know when Bill will show up, but he will show up on the show.
Uh-oh, fart.
Those are some extremely strong punchlines, Bill.
So Jimmy the Bag, you heard Bill Belichick there.
Fuck off, Jimmy.
And and you've worked a lot of different rooms. Can Bill hang with some of the rooms you've been occupying the last couple of years throughout the comedy circuit?
I think Bill will hit in all black rooms for sure.
Yeah.
I think,
He was really that was salty for him there, wasn't it?
yeah, I think. But Bill gets it,
some
man.
good stuff.
Shortest amount of words to a punchline.
There you go.
He can.
Bill gets it.
Now we should find some. Hold on. You have an announcement that you want to make, I think, and this is going to be very very upsetting for some, certainly for us here for some reasons that he will get to. So here we are on the Friday that we that you've joined us now for the last I don't know how long, and great picks and obviously a big part of the show, but you've got some news here.
I do.
We got some background music for him?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is a little salsa.
I do have some news. I've followed my tracking number, and I've learned that my case of coconut body wash has been received by the beautiful women at the Hotel Del Rey in San Jose, Costa Rica. I encourage you, sweet, sweet women, to suds up. Really, really suds up. Feel free to bathe in pairs, and don't be afraid to get that camera out.
How come I'm turned on? How come? I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Because the bag has a one-way ticket, which may cause problems at customs.
yeah, they're usually not big on that.
The bag has a one-way ticket to San Jose, Costa Rica tomorrow. Poof, I'm fucking gone. Don't tell my sleuths. They'll realize it. My phone number will be gone. Everything will be gone except for how rock hard I'm going to be at the Hotel Del Rey in San Jose, Costa Rica. I will be working for a website called Sportsbook Review. I will be gambling every second that I won't be aroused.
Okay, the last part confused me.
I wasn't really expecting that part, but so what's he trying to say? He's moving to Costa Rica.
So someone's gonna go to his room. Yeah, can you make a pick for me? Not now. I'm aroused.
Yes, that's
so
exactly.
SBR. You're gonna work for SBR.
I am working for SBR, doing a show called The Odds Couple with Pistol
Hey.
Pete.
That's good.
All
Look
right.
at Russell how he's just doing a fake clap.
Yeah.
He's so
He's not
jealous of
even into
people.
it.
What a jerk.
He's like, why is Jimmy getting it?
Yeah,
Not
why does
me?
Jimmy get everything?
It's hard to clap with tiny hands. Isn't it, Russell?
You saying that's Alex Smith over there?
Alex Smith says, that's bullshit. Well, so what we're going to do, we're going to figure out a way because I
that's
think
pretty awesome.
that is
Congratulations. That's fantastic
very awesome. But
Thank you.
what we'll do is we'll figure out how to via Skype where you see the head and the face and stuff like that because we're going to keep this going. This does not end.
Perfect.
This does not end.
Just we go long distance instead of up close and personal, right?
Yeah, so he'll show up on the screen. We'll figure out how to do all that kind of stuff, and because that's sensational. I mean, obviously, love when you come by, as everyone else does across the country. We get so many tweets and emails about Jimmy the Bag, so that's tough for us to see you go. But it means success for you, success for your family, and you're going to keep on going and be probably really busy as hell. You'll probably even be busier than you are now.
Yeah, I'll be grinding hard, but you will be the only two guys that I will miss. Sorry to not include you, Russ. But you guys. Truly.
What about Bill Belichick? I thought you guys were and Victor.
Whoa,
no, Vic. No, who knows?
Vic isn't
No, he's
isn't
not-
the kindest
No.
to me, and what he did to my mom, she enjoyed.
Oh.
But to me, he's not very kind.
Well, should we move right to your picks because this is the in studio.
Yes.
And then we can do a show in Costa Rica sometime.
Oh yeah, I'll shoot live from the Hotel Del Rey
Yeah.
in San Jose, Costa Rica.
We'll all be busy too. Yeah. Where are you going, Poppy? Not now, Consuela. Daddy's busy.
Can you find a hotter name than Consuela? Jesus. Man, how many maids have you hooked up with?
Yeah. See, that's
Jimmy,
wow.
do better than Consuela.
Yeah,
okay?
Consuela.
Do better than that.
Consuela,
Yeah.
yes, I will.
Mom, Poppy, you said we go for lunch. Okay, that's it. No water. Okay. Two can play that game, Consuela. Okay, so the magic of Jimmy the Bag and his weekend picks on rawmickrichards.com.
Shit. Let's do this. Let's do this real nice. The Philadelphia Phillies will be playing.
By the way, this isn't a 1-800 number.
Hey, come on, man. Let me roll, man.
There's a lot of overtime. See, that girl just looked over. What is going on in there?
She respects it.
You know, no,
She respects
I don't think she does. I think she's. I've never seen her, and trust me, this is her last day. She's not doing this again.
Man, what's that no mean?
Yeah, we don't like no. You have to say yes.
Okay. The Philadelphia Phillies are hosting Matt Harvey and the New York Mets. Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, should be renamed the Long Knight.
Oh.
Ooh.
He is not Batman, he is the Batted Man. He's going to get lit up. He's going to get touched and violated like the sweet, sweet women at the Hotel Del Rey.
You know, there's a lot of sexual overtones on this. I don't know what you did last night. Would you go to all-you-can-eat oysters or something?
Okay. And to the gridiron.
Oh,
is that lower voice?
Yeah.
To the gridiron.
All right. NFL film.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm taking the Steelers, Ravens, under
Oh, okay.
42 points.
Yeah, I can see that. I
This
like that
Sunday.
pick.
It's
I
going
like
to
that
be a
pick.
battle, and I'm taking the under. Bengals versus Browns, over 41 points. Bengals have a little confidence with their new offensive coordinator. We've seen Kaiser move the ball. New York Giants at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over 44 points. Tampa Bay's secondary is terrible. Giants just got a little bit of confidence. Over 44 points.
I like that too. I like that too.
The Tennessee Titans, minus 1.5, over the Houston Texans. They will beat the Houston Texans, but Deshaun Watson gets to go home to Mia Khalifa, and we're all very proud of you.
Is he really with Mia Khalifa?
He is with Mia Khalifa, and it's extraordinary.
I think I should call him.
I think you should.
Dude, you're not the first one, just so you know.
I think he's fine with
I
that.
think you might want to go to the internet.
And then finally, I know we are not supposed to bet on games in London, England, but my best bet of the week, the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees over Smokin' Jay Cutler and the Bums from Miami.
Yeah, take that. Bums.
Ajayi ran for 16 yards on 11 carries last week. If he can't move the ball, you think Cutler's going to beat you?
It was terrible.
Landry
last
has a knee injury. New
Terrible.
Orleans.
Well, that is Jimmy the Bag's picks. And we go from that to the magic of this.
And now it's time for Mike Richards' sexy picks of gold sex.
I love gold.
Brought to you by Sports Interaction, Canada's online sports book.
Okay, so I'm going to move through quickly because I'm going to give you, as you can see on screen, I made a ton of picks, and I'm giving them all. This is not 4 or 5. I'm giving you a ton. Let's start with Texas State at Wyoming. That's Josh Allen's team. They didn't play that well. Actually, most of the early part of the season, they've been on the road a lot. And remember, he's supposed to be a big-time quarterback draft pick. Well, against Texas State, they're going to see it. Don't love the number, but minus 50.5, I'm going to take it. I'm going to beat up on all the little Texas schools here this week. North Texas at Southern Miss. Southern Miss can play. Minus 8.5, again, a bad football number, but I see that at least a 2-touchdown win. We're going to avoid what happened last week with some kind of big lines. Smaller lines, under 10, I'll take Southern Miss. Georgia at Tennessee, minus 7.5. So plus 7.5 Tennessee. Take minus 7.5 Georgia. They're a really good team. Tennessee has a whole bunch of problems, as we saw against UMass last week. I think this game has the potential, actually, of being a blowout. So I love minus 7.5 Georgia on the road. Then we have a huge matchup. USC, Sam Darnold, Dave, as you know, the big talk about where he's going to end up. So we're going to take USC Washington State over 62 plus. What? No, it's not Dave yet. So USC, Washington State, take the over. Saskatchewan and Ottawa. Love Saskatchewan. So Trent Richardson's going to be in the backfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
This might be the one place he actually does well.
Might be. He's kind of built like a CFL back, right? We'll see what happens.
If he wants to resurrect any kind of career, I think he can do it. And Saskatchewan hasn't had a running game. And Ottawa is terrible. Minus 3, take that on the road. I love Buffalo. Atlanta game as in minus. It's now minus 8. Is that held at that number, by the way?
It seems to still be that on Sports Interaction also. So
I'm going to take the minus. Buffalo hasn't seen what's coming their way. Atlanta's going to score a lot of points. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout because Buffalo plays really good D, but on the road in Atlanta, I like Atlanta. If we're looking at some Prem picks, Arsenal, Brighton Hove Albion. Oh, I love the Asian handicap here. Arsenal by 2 goals, minus 1.5. Love it. Manchester United, Crystal Palace. If you go to Sports Interaction, you can take the option of home team to score in both halves. Absolutely. It pays a 1.73. This is probably a 3-0 game, by the way. And AFC Bournemouth against Leicester City will both teams score. It pays a 1.6 because they're both going to score on $2.50, as you can see. This is a $2.50 bet.
Yeah.
It will pay you $549.
Delicious.
Now, I had one that started also last night that ties in all the stuff. They're all worth like $1,000, $2,000. But it started with minus 7.5 Green Bay, so that obviously was a winner. So we'll put this up also on Twitter so you can see the picks. But that is your golden sex picks of sexy gold sex. Something like that. But now we get to really, I would say dessert, but foreplay can't be that, can it?
It's Friday, and you know what that means. A little foreplay with Dave Bastel. He gonna give you some foreplay you won't forget. Brought to you by Sports Interaction Canada's online sports book. Give it something to me, big sexy.
Thank you, Mike Luck. Good talking to you on this Friday. Here's the foreplay. I'll piggyback on what Jimmy the Bag said about Baltimore. I like that under number, but I'm going to give you something else. I'm going to give you Baltimore plus the 3 points. Baltimore is a different team when they play at home, and they're not going to pull the same London crap that they did last week against Jacksonville. 4-1 against the spread when facing the Steelers, and these guys go head-to-head every single year twice. Take the Ravens plus the points because they're playing at home. Steelers, check out that record. Not very good on the road. I give you Exhibit A last week in Chicago. I like the Rams plus the 6 points in Dallas. The only disappointing part about this is I missed the best of the number earlier in the week when the Rams were actually given 8.5 points on some books across the board. But we're playing here on Friday. Got to play by the rules. Take the Rams plus the 6 points. This is my trap that I'm not really sure about, but I'm going to say it anyway. I like the Lions. I like the Lions in Minnesota against the Vikings. I'm reluctant because of what that Viking team actually does defensively, but I don't believe in Case Keenum. He's supposed to start this weekend. We'll see what he can do. I do believe in the Lions, and I actually think they should have won that game last week against Atlanta. We'll see what they do in Minnesota, and I'll go against Jimmy on this one. I got Houston plus 2.5 points. The Houston Texans, 8-1 against the Titans the last 9 games. 5-1 straight up also. So it almost seems like they have the number. They have them at home as well, which I'm not sitting there trusting this offense because it isn't very good, but I'll take the points and the home side within the division. Take Houston in this one. $25 gets you about $340. That's the foreplay.
There you go. And a lot of sex on the show today, I find. A lot of innuendo. There we go. Nice fade, Russell. Ryerson, they're going, what the fuck? Isn't he a teacher? Those are the exciting picks from, and once again, we'll put that up on Twitter so you can see it all. As you know, it's also CFL weekend where if you're going to see my buddy, you're going to see the Box J boys. They've got the scarves for cancer
Yes.
that they'll have it there. And I want a good friend Jared Harris, who's one of the best guys that you'll ever meet. If you get a chance to do that, scarves look cool. I still think in traditional uniforms, the Ticats still in the traditional colors still looks awesome. You know, you got to love those things. So if you want to go and contribute and help out a little bit, if you're at the going to see the Ticats, if you see the Box J boys or the people with the scarves, make sure you pick up some. It's obviously a great cause. So that's basically it for this show.
Okay.
Yesterday was busy. I thought that George Larocque was unbelievable.
Awesome.
I don't know if you saw that, Jimmy,
Yeah.
but he was great yesterday.
What a guy.
Yeah, and we're gonna have him on.
We're going to have him on
Yeah.
again. We are going back and forth after the show. He's interested in coming on every once in a while when we need him. We should say next week, confirmed right now, we will have Dave Mishkin, the play-by-play voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning, in on Monday. Lightning and Maple Leafs. A lot of people are saying that's your battle in the Atlantic Division. Where's the power in this one? Because the season starts on Wednesday. Can't wait for that one. Speaking of Wednesday.
Who would the Leafs play on Wednesday? What team?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting to.
Oh.
Speaking of Wednesday, from Winnipeg, Paul Hendrick, who is traveling with the team. The Maple Leafs open up their season in Winnipeg against the Jets. It's the first game of the NHL season officially because of the time, of course. So it's the Jets and Maple Leafs from Winnipeg. Paul Hendrick joins us in the morning to preview that. And, of course, we have a lot of Maple Leaf questions, and I'm sure Russell's probably going to get on it saying, you know, is Matthews going to score 300 points this year? Is Mitch Marner going to get 100 goals? Is Frederick Anderson, you know, is he going to get 50 shutouts? And, you know, legitimate questions like that.
Roast beef. You want to respond to any of that? Do you have a microphone to? Doesn't even have a microphone because Jimmy's got the microphone. See, that's why there's always jealousy. Jimmy gets that. That's why all of a sudden
That's Russell's microphone. That's what he says.
does he?
Yeah, he says his own name.
I'll be sure to leave my stink on it.
My precious Russell, don't do that. Thanks for a great week because this was great. We've got of the biggest announcements we're going to make. There's a couple coming next week. I keep saying, "Oh, here comes a big announcement."
Announcements rock.
Big announcement. I'm like, can I just make that announcement because now it's becoming. I'm annoying myself actually at this point. And this music. Okay, we got to stop that. And by the way, head towards the weekend.
What? We just become best friends? Yep. You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yes.
It's time!
Well, we have to thank our good friend Jimmy the Bag and
Yep. Good luck in Costa Rica.
Thank you, guys.
buena suerte, as they say. That means good luck.
Does it?
Yeah. Buena suerte. You need help in español. Yo tengo mucho. Yeah. I speak it.
Good luck with Consuela.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope that doesn't happen.
Shut up! Suela. Yeah. We're going to come down on that beach, too. But not when you're aroused like you...
Not when you're doing your
keep
picks.
talking.
There, try to find me not aroused in Costa Rica. Try.
Yeah, just try. See you on Monday, rawmicrichards.com. Make sure you subscribe. Do it.
Turn the button.
Turn the